Okay. I'm about to roll up my first ever pre-roll with a tip using these specific papers. I've used one package of tips before, and they were pre-packaged with some hemp I had purchased that I didn't order them with. They were just thrown in, which was very kind. My shirt is off because my shirt is soaked. I just got out of a medical facility and they did some terrible things to it. They put a terrible smell on it. They put it through some sort of processing, so it smelled terribly, extremely terrible. And I only have the one pair of clothes right now, so I washed it in the shower as best I could. And right now it's so soaked that if I wear it, it's going to mess up my rolling process. I was just over to the gas station. There's one on the corner nearby. It's very nice. I got myself some classic papers. It's kind of sad when these are the smallest ones. I wish they had the ones. I'm used to places being able to carry the ones, the 1.0s. These are 1 1/4. And so you can see if I had a 1, it would probably size up about right with the paper, but this one's going to be short. Let's see. Oh, these are pre-rolled. I'm a little sad that these are pre-rolled. This wasn't exactly what I wanted, but they'll work. Part of the art is rolling them up, and they got some glue on them now too. So this is truly my first experience using such a product, because I've never used ones that were tips that were already rolled up, and not just pieces of cardboard you could self-roll. And then I thought I was going to have so many more. 21. I thought there was going to be at least 100 here. I'm a little not wanting to scrape the stuff up with this cardboard because it'll taint it. It'll pick up the odor. And this is some stuff I've already smoked before. So before I had to go to the facility, I was harassed terribly by the authorities who put me there on corruption. They used some charges against me that were totally false witness. I had no way to defend myself against them, and things sort of didn't go so well the whole way through treatment. It was all based on false witness and these false beliefs and this terrible, terrible reality that we're basically living in a Nazi. Like, this isn't a country, it's a Nazi. It's like, this isn't the USA, this is Nazi land. Everything is Nazi this or Nazi that. It's just totally a Nazi paradigm now. And you know, it's even dangerous for me to be saying this. I'm a little afraid to even say it at this point because I've been struck by this Nazi SS and the secret police so many times. Hitler's secret police and the Nazi SS have swooped down on me so many times. I'm almost afraid to even speak out against American enforcement and authorities because I fear they'll just swoop down again and come to get me and do all their Nazi stuff. So I mean, like, one of the things you could tell it was like a total Nazi hit on me when they came to get me was they told me they were going to look over my room and like have a discussion with me to make sure everything was safe. Like, it sounded like they were going to come check on me and make sure I didn't attempt to commit suicide, because it seems like you shouldn't have to be forced into treatment just because somebody says you said you were thinking about committing suicide or something, which I never have, and I never will, and I never did, and I never will. Anyway, the issue is there's no way to protect yourself from false witness in this country. It's Hitler's way to get everybody he wants. You know, they can get like nearly anybody on false witness. Look at what they did to the president with all that false witness they brought against the president in those trials, those impeachment hearings, and how far it had to go to get knocked down. It had to stand up to the highest judge in the land. Just total pathetic show that our government is dead. So this message I want to get out right now is that our government is dead and our military is dead. I was the lead of the military, and now I'm not, because they've used some process, I don't know. It's like they just killed the military and got rid of my role. And I am no longer the leader of the military or the leader of the police. And even when I was, I could barely do anything. I managed to save some lives. I managed to get some good movements to go through when I had some calls to make. I did some really great, perfect order giving. But for the most part, I was totally ignored and totally had my authority totally dismissed. And well, so they totally ignored me and totally dismissed my authority. And nobody would follow orders if I was giving them for the most part. But the president gave me a mission. The president gave me recognition. He just sort of forced me to do what I have to do. But now I have to admit, Al-Qaeda has defeated our military. Our military is totally defeated. Al-Qaeda has taken over. You know, to use some general terms, it's sort of what the programming has led me to have to say at this point, that I'm defeated, is that Al-Qaeda has won. There's a nice one. It's a little one. It's artistic. It kind of gets thinner towards the tip, or towards this tip, because the roll, or the pre-made tip was fatter than I wanted. I wanted it to be about, I wanted it to be thinner, so I could have made this equal. But it looks kind of beautiful. It's very, very nice. Let's see if you can see the advertisement for the manufacturer. It looks not quite perfectly cylindrical. Not quite. Still, it turned out very, very nice. I think it's going to puff really good. And one of these, I think I'd call this a $10 pre-roll. Let's see, but I did use some pre-smoked, like some pre-filtered used hemp. And this is hemp, everybody. So, you don't have to be worried about ethics. It's all hemp. This is all hemp. It's all hemp. No marijuana here, it's hemp. And, this pre-roll I'd probably call a $10 pre-roll. It's small, but it should be powerful. I'm going to dip it. I've got some Everclear on the way. And my research has been showing that the higher the alcohol content of alcohol you dip the pre-rolls in, because I was inspired to make them like wine, like cigars that are dipped in wine. So cigars have been dipped in wine. And first I tried to dip my pre-rolls in beer because I was adding the hemp to the beer and it was going great. I'm talking about my research. This is billions of dollars worth of research here, people. If you could actually get the full description of exactly what I did out of me and how I've had my successes. And if I could like lock the market up and like hide away this knowledge, I could make trillions of dollars, possibly easily billions of dollars with this special insider knowledge. Anyway, so to some degree, I'm planning on using this knowledge to want to create package deals. Like, here's your favorite beer, and here are some pre-rolls that I can sell you with it that have been dipped in the exact same type of beer. And I would even like to be able to get around some laws that I think are stopping our industry right now, so you can't add hemp to the beer once it's done. So, I mean, it would be really nice if you could get a facility up and running that could open the beer, add hemp to the beer, close the beer, and still have the beer saleable. Anyway, this is true of all alcohol, but I haven't run all the experiments yet to say that adding hemp to any type of alcohol is a great thing. But I believe that's what it's going to be. I've tried beer in many forms, and every time I've tried, it's been great. And then I've tried wine, and I've only been able to test out one of my prototypes I've made, and I've lost a prototype. I'm trying to regain it. Big loss, but I should be able to regain it. And then I have some Everclear on the way, and I have some amaretto on the way. I have coffee facilities again. I'm going to try adding amaretto to my coffee after I've added hemp to the amaretto, because I usually don't like much alcohol to drink at all. Except beer. I can tolerate beer when the beer is good. But with hemp added, I love beer now. Beer is so great. And then I tried wine with the hemp added, and I used to just sort of tolerate the wine like I'm talking about tolerating the beer to get the effects. But now with the hemp added, it's great stuff. It's almost like I can even drink it with meals now. So this one is slated to be dipped in the Everclear, and my research has shown that the stronger the alcohol you dip it in before drying it, the stronger your smoke will be after it dries. And also, to speak around the law, like, this would be legal for a child to smoke. You could have baby smokes a lot, smoking on these all day. And, despite the moral concerns of having baby smokes a lot, smoke all day, it would be legal because it's hemp and it's not a drug. It would be like giving baby smokes a lot mint cigarettes to smoke. They're just letting baby smokes a lot. Try to find something safe to smoke. It's not a drug because they're not going to take away your right to smoke it. They're having baby smokes a lot. Cook something up and create a big smoke cloud while cooking and smoke up that way. Anyway, I do believe it's legal to dip these things in alcohol and then have them completely dry so there's no alcohol left, and they're still legal for children. I'm not distributing to children, but if I could open my big grand business where I could be the biggest hemp distributor in the world, I would absolutely be targeting children in the most moral ways I could. Anyway, 10 minutes, my alcohol's on the way. I've ordered it from Drizzly, great delivery service run by Grubhub, I think it is. They usually do pretty great with me. I got some beer, some wine, some Everclear, and some amaretto on the way. I got my hemp at a different hotel I got rushed to the hospital from. I'm going to have to go get it from them. I'm going to have to take a taxi. I don't have the right to drive anymore. I can't really afford the car life anyway. What else is on my mind before I sign off? I'm trying to get a big business loan. I have a lot of very highly valuable business assets. I have millions of dollars worth of software. I probably have an easy $100 million worth of already written software. And I'm thinking about wanting like a $20 million loan. My ideal is if I could get a $20 million loan and just totally get all the terms I want, like I could take them hostage instead of them taking me hostage with a balloon payment to pay back the full thing, on the last month. It's like loans up, pay the whole loan all at once in this massive balloon payment. And that's the type of loan I want, $20 million. And I want to have a clause in it so I can easily just say, I give up, I don't have the currency, take this valuable software I had at the start of the loan in place of the currency, and we'll call that a fair payment. So that's what's on my mind about how I'm going to make it through these turbulent times with so many people out of work. I'm not out of work. I'm out of currency rights. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. I prayed to the Dalai Lama. Let's see, my Facebook has been shut down. They hit me with some ethical concerns because I was calling for enforcement. It looked like what pushed them over the top was I called for law enforcement that would have been violent, but it is the law. And it was just too much for their ethics committee to have some sort of violence that is totally accepted and even forced upon everybody in society to be mentioned in a comment on Facebook. And then they've got some new horrible policy on Facebook. Terrorization, just terrible policy where they said they've restricted my account for 30 days. Except it didn't start until I logged in today, which means it's going to be more like a 90-day restriction. Because I should have been able to log in today and have the restriction over with, which has not happened to me, but it's happened before that I've had a restriction given to me and I've logged in and it started when they filed it against me. It didn't have to wait until I've logged in. It's like the worst type of punishment they can possibly do. Facebook just constantly tries to commit suicide, and Facebook is always proving how unethical and immoral it is. We need a replacement for Facebook so bad. And you can look around and say, where are just the dimwits that know how to make money, who should be creating the next Facebook, not just some social network knockoff, a full next Facebook. Like they can get all the TV channels involved and everything, have Facebook Live, have every feature covered, a full knockoff of Facebook. And it doesn't take anybody smart. It can take the cheaters and the lackadaisical who don't like to do all the work, who just make bigger teams to get it done with. And they can make trillions of dollars in the long run by creating a Facebook knockoff. So we have alternatives to Facebook. And they can run on special platforms like, here's the one where they will never restrict your access to your account. And here's the one where you can have as many accounts as you want with some reasonable controls over it. And here's the one where it's completely built to be good for work. And all of them should all never, ever, ever restrict a person's right to their accounts and using their software. There's enough law in place that all the overarching morals of society can handle it. And if they can't, they can make new ones, like they're pushed to do. Anyway, this is about dry now. I want to give it a puff, but I also want to keep it in this pristine state, like I could hand it off for $10 or $20. And I was thinking like I wasn't going to try to sell it. I was going to try and hand it off as a tip. And I call this one maybe even a real nice $20 tip. I might be able to get away with, I call it, if I handed it off with $1 of currency as a pouch to keep it in, I call it a $19 tip with a $1 currency tip of a pouch to keep it in. And I'd try to hand this off as a $20 tip to my alcohol delivery person, who I hope is near. So I'm going to call this one done. Try to hit this 15-minute mark. 15